What up guys, Lunchbox here. I'm just setting up this little video to help out bands that have never been into the studio before, or at least have never been into this studio before. A few tips that I want to go over. Drummers. Let's start with the foundation here. Before you even come into the studio, let's get some new heads on the drum set. Do not put your heads on the night before you come into the studio. Put them on a few days, maybe about a week before. That way they can stretch out and you don't have a bunch of tuning issues in the studio, because those heads will stretch out with the traveling, the heat difference in and out, inside and outside the studio. So just keep in mind that with drum heads and guitar strings, don't put them on in the studio or the day before. Give them both about a week to settle in. Alright, so first tip. Let's go ahead and let's talk to drummers right now. Drummers, get to know the metronome. There's a lot of drummers out there who just refuse to work with the metronome. If you want the best production quality possible, I need to be able to manipulate the drums with the metronome. So if you have to come in and record some pre-production and get some scratch tracks with a metronome so you have something to practice to, get in here and do it. The tip I have is get to know all your parts. Write them out. Do whatever you have to do. That way you know them frontwards and backwards by the time I hit record. It will save so much time in the long run. Just whatever you have to do, memorize all your parts to the point where you can even play them without a band. Now, quality of drum set. If you can't beg, steal, borrow, get a drum set in that is high enough quality that it will sound good in the studio, let me know in advance and I'll make sure that I've got a drum set here in the studio, and rental fees are not that bad. So same thing with cymbals. If you got cracked cymbals, let me know in advance and I'll make sure that we have some cymbals in here that sound good and don't sound beat to crap. Alright? Bass players. Let's go ahead and add, when you show up to the studio, bring your bass rig, because most likely I will reamp it, but while we're tracking, I'm going to run your DI. It just makes the tracking process a lot easier to deal with. Alright? Guitar player. Go buy yourself a cable tester. They're not very expensive. That way you can check and make sure your rig works at the top of its ability when you get here in the studio. Check all your cables, check all your batteries, make sure everything is fully functional, because troubleshooting wastes so much studio time. Just make sure that you come in with a fully functional rig. If the rig doesn't sound that great, don't sweat it. In-house, I have a March JCM 2000. I've got a TV XXX, and I'm working on getting a few other different amps in here. So if your rig is not up to par, let me know and I'll make sure that I got something in here that sounds great to make your recording sound awesome. Alright, but when it comes to mix time for guitars, be open-minded, because the sound that you're used to using out in the world, out live, is not the sound that we're trying to capture in the studio. We're trying to get the cleanest takes, we're trying to get the clearest parts recorded, and yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to achieve that, but you got to be open-minded and listen to your engineer. Lunchbox. Vocalists. Let's go ahead and bring printed out lyric sheets. Even if I'm not producing your project, I at least want to be able to read what you're saying. That way, if what you're saying is not very clear, we can get I can work with you and get the clearest take possible. I want to make sure that I can read and hear exactly what you're saying, so make sure to bring those printed lyric sheets. Okay? Also, in the studio, I've got water, I've got all kinds of drinks, but singers, if you need, bring some aspirin, bring anti-inflammatory, something that if you're in the booth for a while and you feel your throat start to swell up, you're screaming, singing real loud, whatever the case may be, bring something to help alleviate the pain and the swelling in your throat. That way you can sing for a lot longer and I can get a longer performance out of you. Also, you know, whatever the case may be, if you need to bring some magic voice ease, those magical sprays that are supposed to make your voice sound great for whatever length, amount of time, whatever. If you got to take a shot of whiskey, if you got to do something, make sure that you are prepared to get to that vocal booth and stay there for a few hours. Alright? Alright, last but not least, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, talk to me on Facebook, give me a phone call. All my information is on this website. So, yeah, if you can help out, if you can follow all these little tips, and obviously it's all guidance. If you guys, if you know what you're doing, come on in, handle your business. These are just ideas that I came up with to help everyone out in the studio. So yeah, follow these tips, and it will make this process a lot smoother and a lot easier to handle. Things will get done a lot faster and save you guys a lot more money. So, rock to you later.